killed a couple trees today, that's just, there's no doubt, so crazy.
We didn't put the transportation contract in, 300 some pages, we just told you to look at it. Yeah, it was a hefty one.
That's right.
Thank you, State of Nebraska.
This much, because this is actually. I told Carrie after I hit print, I said, damn, I should never have
Jake,
done that.
you better do it, take about 2 seconds.
That's what I should have done. I should have done exactly.
You stood up 1 minute.
You didn't have time for some public comments.
Not today.
It's not on the session today.
That's comments about fireworks.
That is on that's on the agenda, so.
Sure, guy wants to talk about fireworks, huh?
You know, if you really.
Wonder what that's about.
He's the one that likes them off.
I know, right? We're safe that way. All right, it is, now that the commissioner's here, we can get started. It's 6 p.m. So feels, go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Ron?
Ron?
Yes.
Edmund?
Yep.
Grant?
Yes.
Dean?
Here.
Gaston? Here.
And if you could observe a moment of silence with me, please. Thank you. Please join with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted on the wall in the entryway of the Crawford Public Library. It is also available in pamphlet form, and if you follow the link in the agenda. Tonight for consent agenda, we've got a good long list here. A, approve May 26, 2026 regular meeting minutes. B, approve golf board's recommendation to accept Julie Hayes' resignation. C, approve golf board recommendation to accept J. Drew Wohlers as the new golf board member. D, approve Dennis Krautz, Edward Blake, Black Sheep, and Tim Schultz to attend the free NERWA water training in Shatter Wednesday, July 8th, 2026. E, approve Tanita Groskopf as the new transportation supervisor at $16.50 per hour. F, approve advertising for a part-time transportation driver. G, approve advertising for a part-time cleaner for the community building and city hall. H, approve the SDL license for July 1st through 4th, 2026 for the park and the rodeo areas. I, approve Diamond Jack's Corner Bar for the July 3rd through 4th, 2026 holiday to extend business hours to 2 a.m. J, approve the Tailgate Bar and Grill for July 4th, 2026 holiday to extend business hours to 2 a.m. K, approve the SDL license at the Old Napa Building at 135 Main for the Tailgate Bar and Grill for the alumni dance from 1 p.m. on June 27, 2026 to 1 a.m. on June 28, 2026. L, approve the SDL license at the Old Napa Building at 135 Main for the Tailgate Bar and Grill for July 4th, 2026 from 8 a.m. to on July 4th, 2026 to 2 a.m. July 5th, 2026. M, approve planning commission's approved building permits for the following. Catherine Berthold at 909 2nd Street, replacing fence and removing shed. Some of the fencing was 4 foot and will be changed to 6 foot. And Lisa Stockford, 2222 Reed Street, replacing old broken fence.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Dean?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Gaston? Yeah.
Thank you. Reports, Park and Cemetery. board met on Wednesday, as usual, our first Wednesday of the month. And, we did have, some lively discussion, as you might expect. One of the things that we discussed, Diane brought to us about parking during the 4th of July. And I think, definitely that is something we need to think about. As the board looked at it, I don't think we felt like we had authority to maybe go to the sheriff's department to say, enforce what's there. They're mostly concerned about the entrance into the park loop, having access for emergency responders. It's signed, no parking prior, prior, so, but I know we have this culture of, oh, it's okay, so we wondered if that is something that the city takes to the sheriff's department and says, please enforce this, or I'm not sure what to do there.
Sure, we've got a quarterly meeting with them coming up that we can
Yeah.
reiterate that with and ask for if that's
Yeah.
enough or if they want more from us.
And I guess what I came up with at the end of that thought process is that, probably, parking plan for large events in the park might be wise. Cause I started thinking about it and I thought, well, where do we park people? So if it's before the rodeo, do you make them all go to the rodeo grounds, do you make a park? I don't know, that's the problem. I think that we haven't identified great parking options and that somebody should do that.
Can I interject here?
Sure.
The chamber discussed this very problem because we had the same issues and we were gonna reach out, or they were gonna reach out, not we, but they were gonna reach out. Did you reach out to the
I have
volunteer
not,
group?
but,
But there's volunteers we had last meeting that were willing to show up, and if we could have somebody that monitored that area and give them a.
The warning as they
Several-
pulled in or
Yeah,
whatever,
told them, hey, you can't park here, you need to. be
I have to get a hold of Martha yet, but
So, yeah, this was,
The other thing I thought about was just taking some yellow tape and tying it to those signs like, this is important. Drawing attention to that, the signs are all along that way. But as soon as you get past the Campo building and go around, there are no signs. So is that okay on that side? I guess, but, I think it would be wise of us to take a little bit of time and consider what that parking plan looks like for events. The rodeo, getting people in and out of there seems to be thought out a little bit. But boy, in the park for events, and we have several, so we need to really think about that. If you guys would bring that up, that would be awesome.
Sure.
The other thing that we really had was the pool, and the pool is getting some repairs done to it. As you can see, there's been progress made. So I sent you, kind of that background of what we've been doing and the first bill that we have. And so I'm hoping that got to you guys.
Yep, I think we put it through tonight's.
Okay.
Warrants.
And I also sent both to you and to Adam was the last meeting, Adam, you had suggested that the pool committee consider revising the MOU so that it reflects, just the repairs, and so I played with that.
I got it, it wasn't on the agenda tonight, but we'll have it.
Alrighty, so you've got it, you've seen it?
Yeah.
Any questions for the park board? We are looking for more people. We had to let Jerry go last time, so we're really looking for other folks who would be interested in serving on the park board. It's a great board because this community is made up of 300 acres of park. Now that, and then there's this guy who would like to say, thank you, Kevin, because he does such a good job. And we hope that he thinks that he's got help in us in helping to, getting the stuff that he needs, solve his problems, I don't know, but, that's all part of the park board, and we are always glad to receive the compliments that we get because we have, one, such a great employee, and two, a board that cares. So, there you go. Questions?
Library.
Good evening, everybody. So share some numbers on how May went. It went very well. We had 351 visits and patronages. We had 41 people make use of our computer lab, circulated over 200 materials from in-house, and then over 160 in digital materials as well. So it's starting to kind of pick up some of that summer pace a little bit. Upcoming events that we have story times beginning this week, starting tomorrow in the park at 10 a.m. And that'll be recurring all through the summer reading program up until July 29th. So that'll be the last summer reading program of story time that takes place. So we're always really happy to get to have that in the park. People are more excited and there's more for the kids to do after story time. So we appreciate getting to do that there. Friday, June 12th will be our first arts and crafts activity in honor of America 250. We're going to be doing patriotic lanterns that are decorated with tissue paper and Mod Podge. So that'll be really fun. On Tuesday, June 16th will be trivia from, as far as teenagers are concerned, ancient times of the 2000s and 90s. So, but that'll be at 5 p.m. here at the library on the 16th. On the 25th, a Thursday at 4 p.m. will be the first of the Unearthed presentations, which are geared towards adults in education and entertainment. But they'll have subjects that relate to regional topics of geology or paleontology. So we have a very geologically rich area here in Crawford especially. And then the Crochet Knitting Club meets again Friday, June 26th at 1:30. And then the library will be closed in observance of Independence Day on Friday, July 3rd, because the 4th is on that Saturday. So otherwise, there's a whole number of things going on at the library at any given time. But a few of the highlights are the kicking off of the summer reading program that officially has started this week. So sign-ups are welcome anytime between now and the end of the program on Friday, July 31st. So the program itself has a theme of unearth a story, with paleontology, archaeology, geology being some of the things that inspire the activities, displays, and the prizes. The program will feature recurring events like story times, arts and crafts, and presentations. And then participants will receive a reading tracker, which looks like this. So it's a reading tracker, so you can track as you go, and then a bingo card as well. And you can turn the bingo card and the tracker in for small prizes throughout the program. Otherwise, to be entered to win our grand prizes at the end of the program, all you have to do is attend any of the events, and your name will be entered in for the drawing. And there's prizes for all ages, from small children, late elementary and middle school, high school, and adults. So, and you do not have to be present to win for those drawings. You just had to have participated in some of the activities. But the program will conclude with a party on the 31st of July from 2 to 4 p.m. So, elsewhere, the Friends of the Library hosted their summer book sale over the weekend in conjunction with the Frontier Finds event. And that was wonderful. That's why there's such a mess along the curve wall there. That's what's left. We moved quite a bit of material, and the Friends raised $400 towards library programs, improvements, and projects. So we're very grateful to the Friends for that. And speaking of gratitude, the last thing I wanted to mention was that the library is very grateful to Lee Miller and the employees that contributed to the repairs that were done on the sprinkler system for the library. We had a dorked up hydrant, and the sprinkler system that was in place was in various states of disrepair, and so a lot of time and effort went in, especially from Lee Miller, to get that up and running and everything, and add the library again to the list of beautiful places in town. So thank you guys for that. But if you want to get signed up for the summer reading program, come see me. You know where to find me. Otherwise, unless there's any questions for me, that is my report. Yes.
Not a question, but I helped to facilitate a conversation with the Frontier Finds people across the Panhandle today, And she was one of the stars. They have observed Ashley greeting everyone that came in and then cross-connecting them with all the other great stuff we have going on. And that is exactly what they were looking for. I don't know who that woman was. I know. So we really appreciate that you took that red carpet kind of training and facilitated those connections across our communities.
Thanks
Thanks.
very much. I appreciate you sharing that. I'll get out of here this way. Oh, and, sorry, one last thing. If you would like a schedule of all the summer reading program events, I have them. They'll be on a pile that you can take from off the circulation desk. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Richie. We'll move forward with golf.
So the, kids camp deal's going, it started, it's going well, I think we have 14 in there. And, I think Missy said there might be adding 2 more kiddos to that. The member guest tournament may or may not happen. They're not getting enough people signed up for that. But we are adding another tournament in late September. It'll be, is that the Glow Golf? Yeah. Fred's not happy about it, but, cause they tend to tear up the course, that's why we decided to do it at the end of the season. So. That's the, highlights from the golf.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Unfinished business of the preceding meeting, discuss, approve, disapprove, contracting with 5 Rural Planning for vacant property registry services. We asked this to be on here, it's something that we consider. We had a special meeting, where they presented their services, and then, you know, we've had it on here to discuss again, but we put it back on to, consider approval, if we wanted to move forward with the services being offered.
I think we've hashed this 9 ways to Sunday. I think most everybody agrees this needs to get started, so. I don't know if there's any other questions we need to be asking that I'm missing out on. I think we've got the financing figured out.
Could they adjust your prorated amount?
Well, that would be my only last question was the financing, yeah. Because that shows through April. I don't know if we need to have that, cause this shows just these 2.
Yeah,
That's the.
We just hadn't asked for
Right,
an
so
update.
it's right,
And
3250.
you would have the ordinance, but for them to do anything.
Right.
The only other question I had, did you get a number on the legal fees for when they're doing stuff, but it doesn't say anything about that, but other than that.
It was mentioned, but no,
I just remember it was $1,000 retainer,
Mm-hmm.
and then,
$350 an hour.
yeah. So, we spoke with Jane, and she recommended that we do it like this, get this approved, and then get them to send an updated contract.
Make it
Showing approval.
Make it a contingent on
The updated.
adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
So I move that we, approve the 5-year rural planning, big property registry services contract, with the adjustment being made of, 1625. Will be prorated off. And do you think we need to have them in contract as to what a retainer fee should have that written down?
You're gonna have an agreement with their office.
For sure.
Tell us.
And we'll probably have to accept that separately when that comes over, so. Okay. Thank you, Fran, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Gaston. Roll call?
From
Yes.
Gaston. Yes. Dean.
Yes.
Thank you. New business, discuss, approve, disapprove the MOU with Crawford Chamber regarding tourist booth property requested by Jess Espinoza. She had handed these out at the beginning of the meeting. I don't think there's any other Jess Espinozas in here but
No,
you, so you
but
can't
it's
pass
already
this
not
off.
gonna talk, so I just wanted to make sure that
we have a contract with the Dawes County Travel Board, or an agreement, with them. They give us, finances to pay the employee to work at the booth. We don't own any property, the property is your guys's. We have a couple of people that are interested in doing repairs and different things to the booth, and they're doing fundraising and things like that. But we thought, we kinda on an insurance wise and whatever, we need to have an agreement to protect you guys and us. And also to secure what we have with the Dawes County Travel Board and the commissioners. We got a bump in our pay, so, our employee can work 35 hours and she'll be getting her $15 an hour. So, we get quarterly payments to cover the, payroll essentially. And one of the things that we had talked about, last July, the chamber was really struggling, and I had visited with April. And we had kind of talked about some of the utilities and things, and April was asking like about the electricity and thought maybe the city could cover that. I asked Brooke if she would look into that. We pay about $450 for the entire year for the electricity. Bev and the people she gets to work for her do some minor cleaning. Kevin and the guys were really good about going up and emptying the bigger trash cans, mowing and weed eating and all of that stuff. And they have a pretty good, open relationship with Bev as to what needs to be done up there on a maintenance level of the grounds essentially. So we just feel we need to have something kind of in place to protect everybody.
So you don't have on here that are you asking the city to cover your electricity then?
Well, it's in there that under the electricity, I can't open up mine on my
It just
computer,
says
but,
Utilities provide utility connections.
Connections is all it says.
so it says the city agrees to provide utility connections. I mean, we have no problem. The only thing is the electricity. That's basically the only thing up there. We don't have a phone line anymore. We don't have anything else. But, the electricity is on up there year round because of the, bathroom and, the flagpole and all of that stuff. We've just always paid the bill.
Would you be okay with the city covering half of it?
We're open to whatever.
I mean, if they
I
have it
mean,
year
the city,
round.
yeah, the
We don't
city,
use the bathrooms are closed during the winter, right?
I have no idea if they get winterized or,
Usually, yes.
so.
So other than the light for the pole, which we have to keep on year round.
So essentially that's what it is, it's just kind of protect everybody involved.
Can I ask also, only just cause it came up, things like flags and trash can liners and stuff like that, is
So-
that expected for us to pay?
I think what Bev was a little confused on when she had contacted you guys and she couldn't get a hold of a couple other people, but the city has always done the bigger ones.
The bigger
chambers, the bigger trash liners for the outside trash cans. We have done the inside for like the bathrooms, the smaller ones,
Okay,
from what I understand, so,
and the flag gets torn up a lot,
yeah.
because it's
I
not
think
being put up and taken down.
the chamber pays for the flags. Claris had found that in one of the labor contracts, is that we provide a flag, so.
I didn't order that flag yet, cause I wasn't sure. what to
Yeah.
do with that. Okay.
So, but that's what Claris had found in the documentation that she had, is that we replace the flags. A lot of times, sometimes they get donated as well.
Sure.
That should be put on an MOU.
Well, there's, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's fine, but I want them
Yeah,
trying to address that now, or if that needs to be. Got that written on it. I mean, we can what do you think about covering that? I mean, is that something you wanna do? I'm looking for feedback, I'm not, maybe, I don't know. Yes, no different?
I mean, we pay the electricity, it's not that big a deal. It was just last year, we got a little tight on funds, and it was just something that, in talking with April, that was mentioned, is that maybe that would be a possibility since it's the city's property and
Yeah, but
so we
nobody
have
else
a, we
uses
have
that.
our insurance that covers a lot of things, the general liability insurance, we worry about the, caboose and people getting hurt up there, I don't know who's liable if someone was to be hurt. They've been looking and trying to help Roger find documentation as to who actually owns the caboose.
Well, doesn't your liability insurance cover if somebody got hurt?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of changes that have come into play with
No, I'm aware.
insurances.
I just hadn't heard.
Yeah.
So just within the last month, that came up as from the chamber's liability, the company said, we're excluding liability on the caboose.
As it stands now, are people allowed to get up on it, or is
There-
it just to view around, walk around and?
They're not supposed to be, I mean, from what I understand, it's not unlocked. There is a broken window, I guess, again, and so I have worked with the railroad, down in Alliance with, a gentleman down there. He's the one that replaced the glass the last time, and, so we're wanting to get it repainted again as well. And so I'm working with him and, with their finances, of course, you know, they had a lot of budget cuts that are going on with them. So there's a lot of things that are going on, but, they did replace the glass the last time. And there's another one that broke out from what I understand, but the doors are locked.
Do we have signage that says, yeah,
We don't.
Right.
it needs signage, okay.
Is that chambers?
Well, and that again, that's why we're trying, like I said, we're trying to figure out, I visited with the railroad, they said that the majority, when they decommissioned the majority of those cabooses, they were given to the cities or villages, not necessarily chambers or clubs. But they don't really have any documentation.
Well, the chamber
We
can't own
find
any property.
Yes,
At
and
the
we
end of
can't.
the day, it's ours, we need to have the signage up.
So anyways, but there's just a lot of things, and Bev's pretty good about making sure when she's up there of not allowing people to get up on it, climb around or anything, and then whoever she has working for her, if she has a day off, they're pretty good. But that doesn't happen all the time, and we are closed a couple of days of the week, and then in the evenings, so, there's not really anybody up there to say you can't climb on it, but.
We have signage that it's a trespass, and we keep some liability.
Yeah, so that's what we've been on there for our grand old meeting. So we're just
I
gonna
think we're,
move this.
Well, since we were provided this kind of today and we had an opportunity to discuss, I think it'd be fair to table today,
No
let Adam have
Let's
some
have
time
Chris.
to update what we have here, and no action, we'll put it back on next meeting and see
Yeah.
if it's something we can.
What'd you have to say, Chris?
well, it is city property, but I just feel that we're trying to set a precedent of, we're not paying for, the city's struggling enough for money, and we're not paying for, things that aren't city related.
Yeah, they're the ones. who
That's-
use
that's
that
my
building most of the
concern.
time, I guess. Okay,
Yeah, so I was checking on. Make some adjustments.
yep.
Thank you, Jess. Alright, so no action on number 7, we'll move to 8, discuss, approve, disapprove dates and times for fireworks usage. I had a conversation with our fire chief this morning, around noonish. Of course, they are more than busy at this time of year, season, with the lack of rain that we've had. I asked him for his perspective and opinion on this. And I think realistically, I have to agree with him, it would be easier to approach this on a, we'll do what we've always done basis than to try and change it drastically and potentially deal with the fallout of the constant calls to the sheriff's office and city hall with what those changes are, and these people haven't abided by these changes, and that's not what we've done before and whatnot. So he felt that we'd probably be pretty safe to just proceed as we have in the past, and assess it on a daily basis, and if either of us feel that it has changed enough that we drastically need to, you know, adjust or take away dates and times, that we'll make that decision at that time.
I talked to Wally Julian also, and that's the only reason he's here, is Service County Commissioner. Do you wanna tell him, Wally, kinda what you guys had a meeting about?
Well, we decided today, correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, that, no fireworks in the country, but people are gonna do it anyway. Try to get people to come down, do it on pavement, because it's so dry. As you can see now, they're fighting fire out there. I agree with what you were saying, April. I would talk to Adam a couple days, July 1st, and say, what do we do? Yeah, we might get some rain.
And Brian was willing to kind of just be available on a day-to-day basis, if, you know, let
But
it
you're
be
also gonna
normal,
have
but
to
if we need to cut it immediately, then we're available to cut it
Consider if they
immediately.
have a big fire, they're gonna be limited on what they can bring.
You're gonna have another meeting on the 23rd.
Yeah.
And depending on the conditional changes, it's Shannon went to 2 days,
Mhm.
first week, but they're gonna reevaluate Monday
Yeah.
with their fire chief as to whether they wanna leave it at 2 days or expand it back to their normal days.
Yeah.
They also have patrol to be able to put up with having it only be sanctioned for 2 days, which
Right,
we don't necessarily
right.
have that as an option to be that function.
I'd wait and see what the weather's doing.
I think as long as people have it, understand, have it within city limits where there's pavement and there's green grass, and we can watch it and monitor it, and get out in the country, it's.
I would absolutely rely on your chief's
Mhm.
determination, cause it's kind of everything. So if he's wanting it to remain normal.
Yeah.
I would suggest that that's the way to do it.
The other thing that he had as a recommendation on top of that is just maybe an announcement or advertising, or even if it's just Facebook posts that can be shared between the city's website, and if Jess would share that on hers. Just what all of our normal, everyday protocols is, and what we want for safety and what we want to be considered with fireworks, you know. We're all very aware of what's going on, but we all want everybody to have the opportunity to enjoy the 4th in all the ways possible. We want those who have, you know, invested in fireworks and have had, their stock and stuff bought since this winter, that they have the opportunity to also have their sales and their business, without that being so drastically, you know, impacted, so. But yeah, I think some advertising online would be certainly an easy way to go about it, just to make sure that the city's pleading for everybody to be mindful and responsible, and to continue as we're used to for the time being, and you know, if something changes drastically, we'll assess it at that time. Any other comments,
So
concerns?
you wanna stay with June 28th through July 5th?
It looks like that's what we did last year. Right.
28th was the last Saturday in June, 27th would be the last Saturday in June this year.
What was that, June 27th to July
5th.
5th, okay. And is there times?
Yeah, so it's,
So 10
till 10 PM, except for, the 2nd through the 4th, which is till midnight.
Well, I don't think part of that, when we looked at that last year, had to do with what days of the week they were,
Right.
so let me,
So the 4th is
double
on
check.
Saturday this
Yeah.
year.
so maybe just 3rd and 4th would be appropriate till midnight, not like anybody on Thursday night needs to be going that way, but.
Right.
Sure.
But yeah, last year we had the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. The 3rd was actually a Thursday, so we were trying to be mindful of being the 3rd. And that's why we had a longer run, but I would say this year we could probably just do the 3rd and the 4th till midnight, and the other nights till 10. So it would be starting June
27th.
June 27th. June 27th from, it says 9 AM to 10 PM, and the 3rd and 4th, 9 AM to midnight,
And then the 5th is back to 10 PM.
and the 5th would be the 9 to 10 PM. Okay,
And then I would also add so I'll put it in a motion for exactly what we just said.
Sure.
And then add that if anything changes with the county or the state, we don't need to reconvene. We're just gonna follow whatever they go with.
Recommendations to the fire chief.
And recommendations of the fire chief, yes.
I'll second that.
So Dean and a second from roll call.
Well, I'm going as fast as I can.
No, you're good.
Dean,
Yes.
From,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you. Just that, you're good with that too. Did you were mentioning fireworks earlier, I didn't really know if you had anything else to add to that or cover.
Yeah, I was visiting with, Wallet here earlier this afternoon about that on fireworks within the town versus out of town, and where we light the fireworks after the rodeo on the 4th. I think we can get that watered pretty well before we set up, and then, you know, it's all based on,
Technically in city limits though,
yeah,
cause it's on our grounds, right?
pretty grassy.
The commissioners were
right.
a request today, more than anything.
But, Brian and I are
Okay.
in pretty close communication through all that anyway, and like I said, if there's a big fire going somewhere, I
Right.
mean,
Be
if
mindful.
it's super windy, you know, there's all sorts of contingencies for it.
As long as you're covered then too. Alright.
It's just that things mold, right, ain't nothing to mold,
So
Some that
Chuck
don't
Mader,
have
in years past, Chuck Mader's always mowed that down there and hayed it and make sure all the growth
right,
off of it pretty close to the 4th, so it's not very tall, but
right, I don't even know if there's any up in there right now, but we don't have
Backside.
backside, it's gotta be old grass.
Okay, that was part of
Still
your,
paying,
and we've not ever had a bid go forward, so.
well, if it needs to be, I'll drag my mower in and mow it all down too.
It's just the old dead stuff is what I was worried about, so.
Okay. Alright, well, thank you, we'll go ahead and move on to number 9, discuss, approve, disapprove the manner and terms of surplus sale. This came about a couple meetings back, we had, departments provide lists. During that meeting, we discussed that not everything on the list was something that we wanted sold, so we gave council an opportunity to cut up those lists and make changes and recommendations.
I think the only thing that I would say is, I think we're gonna hold that pickup back. When we talk about it.
Okay.
So maybe we need to put the list back through, because nobody's marked anything on the list.
Right.
And then it was dumped on me to do something about it, and so I put this on here.
Yeah.
Because I gotta figure out what to do with
We'll need to,
everything.
yeah, have
In the
specifics.
past, we've
To
had
move on.
an auctioneer, we've done it that way.
We
We can-
attempted to, but during that meeting, when we provided these lists, it was discussion that a lot of the items on this list were either needed to be adjusted. Kevin had a couple mowers on there that we thought we better hold back for backup or community use or whatever it may be. And so those needed to be adjusted before we could move forward, and so these lists have just kinda sat there since then, so they kind of put them back on at the request of the clerk, cause I agree, that's, you know, that's more what you guys need to decide as opposed to what our office staff needs to decide as
Well,
far
that's
as
really how to do it.
what needs to be where and then how you would like it done.
And in the past, we'd have like an auctioneer, we can go that route, we can do bring it all down to the balloon building, have big garage sale.
We'll have to pick a different building, but at a location would be okay.
But then dragging all of the stuff from everywhere to one place could be, I mean, but if we have an auctioneer, we'll have to do that anyway.
Right.
I don't know a better way to do it.
Right.
Unless somebody has some,
Unless you want to advertise mistakes on bid, and open that meeting.
on a list, those lists, what do I do?
That'll take forever.
There's a lot of things on those lists.
I think you need to tighten your list down first. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And make a master.
I haven't had a chance to even look all this stuff, I bet you we got so much stuff going on there.
Is
Chris's
the
ass.
grain building empty now? I mean, you got the picnic tables out of there, right?
No, there's no, equipment's in there, and all the stuff, it's not surplus, it's still with it.
Okay.
Pool covering, a bunch of fire equipment.
Yeah, I don't know what this,
Some surplus stuff from the
we could put it all in one place.
golf course.
There's,
I like it to be empty, but
down
The
there.
clinic has stored things in the basement of the clinic,
No,
but
there-
not the
there
city.
is.
Hang on just a minute.
There is.
There it is, operating instruments,
But
there's,
that's not the city's own items, those are, that
Wasn't-
has to do with the
did
clinic.
the city own the hospital? Just something to think about, guys. The city did own the hospital, that's why I thought that stuff was.
I understand that.
So, it doesn't matter to me, I'm just mentioning that.
Maybe we should table and review the list for a moment.
Well, and Adam made a good point, to just
Master
combine the list for a master list, and then we'll work from that. So if there's any questions on that, we can ask the department heads to clarify, some of them are handwritten.
But they've already taken off, which I can't tell.
Right. So.
Okay.
My question is, how do we do this without having a quorum? I mean, you know, you're almost gonna put hands on and look at this.
Well, if we create a master list and we share it with you, you can make adjustments to it
And
and
go and
share it
look
with
at it
Jody.
ourselves. you know. I mean, we had everything in one spot, that would be for sure, but I don't know where that one spot is at. And then you could go through everything and look at it, and you're chasing everything down. Cause if you're gonna have an auctioneer do it, you're gonna have to have it in one spot anyway. So where's that, we had it at the Bloom Building at one time, well, that Bloom Building is not an option now. So where do we go, you know, if we're gonna do this?
The parking lot of the community center.
Rodeo Building is legit. That's legit, maybe that's, I mean, do we ask our help to start moving stuff up there so you can get it, and we can go through it when we get there and get it itemized before? Yeah, well, for sure, yeah, for sure. As they can. Then get everything up in there. I don't know if the Rodeo Building has anything lined up for meetings or events. But I think maybe that's something we need to address after the 4th and get this all done. And then we get it lined up and get it one spot where we get our hands on it and we look and see what we got.
Sound like a plan, so we'll table it this time, combine the list, see if we can get it sent out. Well, no action.
Well, I just know that like the equipment and everything, you're gonna get a lot more money if you sell it privately than taking it to an auction and just getting rid of it. Is there any option of maybe doing, putting it on Marketplace or Shadrad or anything like that where you can set a price for it instead of just saying, here's our.
But we can still create a minimum bid on any of these items also, so like, that's still something that the city has access, we don't have to give it away, we can create a minimum on things, but
Put a floor on it.
I don't know if Marketplace is an option.
Yeah,
We
that's
have a
awesome.
minimum ask that we can do.
That's a good point, because of the last one we had, we got bent over
That's what I heard,
there. So,
yeah.
I mean,
But
people are gonna pay what they're gonna pay.
there's no way I can manage a marketplace posting for
No,
all that.
that's not,
No,
That
that's
would
not
be-
normal.
I've done just a few things out of my shop and that's driven me crazy for 2 weeks.
You could do it in phases with mail-in, notice and mail-in bids and so, and then take the bids here. The auctioneer's gonna cost you 6%.
Chad Garner has that video on that online too. You know, that's
There's
way
there's
you
no
know,
other entities doing that,
Scott.
so, yeah.
Jeff Olson's. So, I mean, there's different venues that can use.
Just figure out what the cost would be.
Right, we gotta come up with them.
Yep.
alright, so no action, number 9, we'll move on to number 10. Discuss, approve, disapprove proposed evaluation changes by Lauren, presented by Jake Pullman.
That's not I'm over here, so seems like there's plenty of protection for me from here.
That's fine.
Nate Fox and I met with, April and Councilman D, Mayor Grant, Councilman D, about a month ago. And so Lauren had sent out, appraiser to do valuations on what all the buildings are worth on a replacement cost basis. And then we sat down and went through that list and discussed, okay, what can we do to kind of soften this value, because it was a pretty sizable increase of about $9 to $10 million in valuation over the total. In that, we pared it down, and so we've got just a little bit of a review, the 4-page stapled sheets, just tell us where we've been, and then 23 and 24, when we had properties insured through EMC in Columbia, that total insured value at that time was at $22,553,000. When EMC non-renewed, we went to Continental Western through Jones Group, and we were able to soften some of those values by taking a lot of those buildings, the old buildings, to an actual cash value basis. But on that, our settlements are not very. If you go to replace a building like the library here at a $1.3 million valuation, but it's only insured at $350,000, the company's just gonna depreciate that out. Your lost settlement's not even near what it costs to replace it. So with Larn, most of the buildings on the list are at a replacement cost value now. When we went to Larn, they used the values that we had at the Continental Western policy, but then with the understanding that they were gonna do their own valuation and get those to the right values. Some of them we've dropped, some of them we've increased, but long and short of it is, through that and through the negotiation with trying to get the values to where we think they ought to be, we come to about that $22,258,000 now. So we're right back to valuation side where we were a few years ago. The premium at Larn is going up in accordance with that. The first 2 pages are strictly on property. 3rd and 4th are the total overall insurance. Larn premium is pretty property heavy, and then the other lines are quite a bit less. So if we look at the year ago, the Continental Western renewal, that was gonna be at 129. The Larn proposal was at 121. Now with the valuation changes, that's gonna have an endorsement of about $7,000. Still gets us less than what the Continental Western policy was for the year, but with that, Continental Western was a $5,000 per occurrence deductible, $25,000 wind and hail deductible, and again, a lot of those buildings were on an actual cash value settlement instead of replacement cost. With Larn, it's $1,000 flat deductible, no wind and hail deductible. So the buy-up in coverage and getting the values right size, we're still right in the same spot that we were at renewal, basically. This spreadsheet, and I know it's really small print, but to get everything on there. There are a few buildings that I want to point out. Number 3-1 is the library, and what we came to, the replacement cost on this building was in that 1.3 million range. We said if there's a loss, we'd really want that replaced with something that's more conducive, modern, and an office building of this size and structure, or size and capacity feel is fair at about 540. That falls kind of right in line with what I've been pricing too. It wouldn't be the same block construction, it wouldn't have stained glass windows, that sort of thing, but, that would be on a functional replacement cost value instead of the 1.3 replacement cost. The water treatment plant and its equipment at 5.4 million, that's one that I really don't have any idea what the cost of that to replace that structure would be. I know a modern building that size wouldn't be near that, but I don't know anything about all the stuff that's in it. We did discuss that you could probably hire an engineer to give you that value, and it costs you $15,000 to get their opinion on it, and it may come back at more than that. I don't know, but at that point, I felt 5.3, 5.4 million is probably in the realm. That's where Larm's adjuster has it estimated, and at the end of the day, if it's on a replacement cost and it gets destroyed, they're gonna replace it, not a quibble about, well, it's insured for 5.3 million, so that's all we're paying. That is the nice thing about their program is they're actually sending their guy out to do the valuations and say, this is kind of where we think it's gotta be. If I'm doing that and with your consent, and we're not within that 90% of value, on a lot of policies, they say, you get co-insurance penalty on that. Where Larm has their person doing it, that's kind of takes some of the errors and omissions off that valuation off of us. That being said, you know, not the treatment tanks, but the storage tanks are 2 million, $1 million, $1.5 million each. Those are up just a little bit. We did talk about the office building down on Main Street, the 246 Main, where the sheriff's hairdresser is. There are a few of these buildings that are in that kind of condition that I said, you know, if something happens to them, are we gonna replace them? The answer's probably not. They're not in the best condition. If we have an actual cash value settlement on there with at least $50,000 of value, they still fall under the blanket, and there's $250,000 for debris removal that's associated with that. And so that's where we came into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buildings at 50,000 and in value for that debris removal. And then the museum building, we've got that at 100,000, just because it's quite a bit more in there for debris removal for that. So to get that value up, total loss situation, you'd have $100,000, and then wouldn't have to go back and replace that building. Now, the only bad thing about having those on an ACV basis is just what I talked about with a co-insurance penalty. The museum building, a replacement cost value on that one, we're pushing close to 1.8 to 2 million. We thought about a functional replacement cost of $1 million for a building of that size. Really come down to, if something happens to it, partial losses probably aren't gonna pay out much on those buildings. Total loss, or the other thing is partial loss, you just take the building down. You know, roof, you get a roof, hailstorm that impacts the roof, needs replacement, policy's probably not gonna pay on that. Not probably not going to, it's not going to. And then the other building that we put in for a functional replacement cost, just similar to the library here, is the, hospital clinic building. Functional replacement value of 1.2 million versus a 2.1, replacement cost estimate on that one. With that, with the board's approval to accept these changes and values on these buildings, we can go ahead. Let's see, there's one on, there were a few on here to delete. There's an irrigation shed, which is the old, that's clear at the north end, if I remember correctly, right? Is that right?
Yeah, it was in the park, it was that furthest building that was, I think we approved to have hauled off a couple times, which just never has been,
Yeah.
so I think that's the one, right, yeah.
Deleted that one from coverage, and, the concession shed, concession stand in the park was another one that was at $15,000
Yeah, that was in the wrong.
ACV, but, just remove that from coverage as well. And then the other one,
Restroom by the rodeo building.
that's the problem. The restroom that's not functional.
So you got the one that's down below, we got it covered.
Yes.
Mhm.
From our discussion, was there anything else that stood out in that to you?
No, I think
Did
this covered all of
you, did you not put the fire hall on there, the old fire hall?
The old
No.
fire hall is not on there, has not been
It's
on
not.
coverage for a few years, well, since, I don't think that's been added back to the
After
city
you got it
policy
back.
since you got it back.
correct.
Perfect.
Just to address the elephant in the room, the balloon building, has not been covered. I just spoke with Tim Kreider earlier today. I said, I'm not showing anything in my records of policies back to 2018. He says, I know we discussed it back in 2010, and that's when he bought the agency. It hasn't been on policy for several years. With that, I would need, your approval on the valuations. Like I said, there is gonna be a $7,213, endorsement for that coverage from May 8th through the remainder of the year, if this is approved. It will increase the property coverage on the renewal by about $18,000. They don't have that full renewal work, but I've got some rough numbers in the packet.
So what's the total number, one final number here?
The total number of coverage on blanket between everything is $22,258,513. That includes property in the open, that includes, which I think the playground equipment part
Yeah,
was
that was
property in the open,
yeah.
that was
Our premiums would be,
premium, total premium for this year with that $7,000 endorsement will be $121,419 plus the $7,213, 128,600.
600. And this is done in allotments, or, I mean, the 7,000 is
The 7,000 will be billed directly from Warren.
and it's paid quarterly?
I think they,
I'm not sure, I think that's an annual payment on that.
One,
It's an annual payment,
Do
we put
when?
money aside every month,
yeah,
oh,
so you've seen those a
we
lot.
put money aside monthly to pay
right,
it every
okay, okay. So you need 7,000.
That will be billed,
shortly after we agree.
Okay.
then the last thing that I wanted to touch on going forward is there was an endorsement on the liability policy because of the state of repair of the pool and everything that's being done to fix and repair that. There is an exclusion endorsed onto the general liability for the operation of that pool until it has been, repaired and needs to be permitted, certified by somebody that everything is operational.
Is the city covered if anybody gets hurt on property? Is that an issue?
You
As
mean,
far as,
like,
One of
if
them
somebody's working
working
there,
there and gets hurt?
that's work on.
Work on,
But we have a lot of volunteers there,
for sure.
so they wouldn't be under workers' comp. The
If
Friends
they
of the
sign
Pool-
the volunteer sheet, I thought that was supposed to
I
cover.
didn't know that
Have they signed the
them.
volunteer sheet?
The Friends of the
So-
Pool is a volunteer group that's working on the pool.
We do have a consent form that the city does provide the volunteers need to sign, so that probably is something we need to
So-
get addressed.
we request them to.
Volunteer workers are covered by your work comp. But on that, so and maybe this is something that I need to be cleared up on. The pool repairs are being done by volunteer or are they being done by contractor?
Both.
Both. Okay. So are the volunteers working on behalf of the city or working on behalf of, they're under the direction of the contractor?
Or in the direction of the contractor. City
Then
has
that's
all-
the liability of the contractor.
I just wanna
So-
make sure we're not held liable, but
Well, that's,
they come back on.
that's what I wanna make sure too, is
Yeah,
Through the location.
right.
where the,
'Cause it's
I mean,
called
if-
city pool.
if they're under the direction of the contractor, that would be, and that would fall under your contractor's liability and his work comp.
The other piece of that is that really the pool committee is under the park board. So, I don't, cause we give the instruction basically, yeah, we want Ty to do this, Ty says, here's how we're gonna do it. So it's kind of a mixed message. I can certainly have everybody who's working out there go through the volunteer sign up.
There is no contract officially with the city. We have not hired a contractor with
At this point,
any of that.
Jake will have to talk about this a little bit.
And you guys are, Adam made a good point, you guys are under the Crawford Area Fund.
Crawford
so
Area
that's-
Fund,
That's
that's
your,
Not under the park board.
it's not under the park board.
Okay.
Crawford Area Fund is a standalone entity.
Okay.
Nonetheless, this
They need to
means
get some coverage.
once the pool repairs are completed and everything is deemed operational,
We can have it set.
we're gonna want somebody that has the authority and the knowledge to say, yes, everything is functional and properly functioning.
And that comes with the inspection of the pool. Quite
Yep.
honestly, we were inspected last week. Nothing was open, so we'll have to ask for re-inspection.
Yep.
But
Does the
yes,
state still provide that, or?
they will not after the 18th of July.
After the 18th of July.
However, Panhandle Public Health is stepping up to do
Oh.
that. Yeah.
Great, okay. Awesome. All right, we finished this up.
Anything else?
Yes. So we'll need to have a motion to approve the valuations that were presented. Is that all just the valuations, or do we need to?
Just
Just
valuation.
valuations, okay.
I'll move that we, accept the
Approve the valuations.
approval of evaluations. Thank you.
From, do I have a second? So second from Gaston. Roll call please.
From
Yes.
Gaston.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Thank you, Jake.
I do need your signature
Okay.
on,
Yeah.
just anywhere on that.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to number 11, discuss, approve, disapprove appointments to Board of Health, excuse me, Board of Health, Mayor Grant, Council President Dean, Deputy Shafo, and Brian Prosser. These are names that come up by default. It's something that should be, issued. I think we've had it in the past annually in June is why this is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
And then we just update the names as to which positions need to be covered, which are appropriate, so. Do I have a motion for approval?
So Brian Prosser wouldn't fall under, on the ordinance here. We need a physician or healthcare provider. We do
Is
not,
he EMT?
we do not need a fire chief. I think he's going to.
You don't have any other providers that are gonna do it.
Right. So what's the goal here? I mean, we're just filling the board then?
It's supposed to be updated annually, which we fell off from, and so we're trying to renew what's supposed to be done on an annual basis and get back in the mode of making sure that we're crossing T's at the time T's are supposed to be crossed.
So no brainer, we should have one.
Okay.
Do we have a motion or any other questions?
Well, motion to approve.
Okay, Dean, motion to approve the Board of Health, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
And roll call.
Dean.
Yes.
From
Yes.
Gaston.
Thank you. Number 12, discuss, approve, disapprove, authorizing Attorney Edmund to proceed with collection and enforcement efforts on small claims judgments awarded to the city.
How many do we have, you know?
So, I'll go through them with Terry and we'll figure
Are
out
we-
which is most important.
Are we limited to how many we can do?
No,
No?
you're limited in small claims
Right.
period timeframe, but once you get the judgment, we're just gonna figure out what judgments we can collect and which ones are, some judgments are uncollectible, I'm just gonna tell you that from the top. But Terry and I go through those and see which ones we can maybe get some paid.
Well, I move that we approve Attorney Edmonds, proceed with collection and enforcement efforts on small claims judgment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
From
Yes.
Dean.
Yes.
Gaston.
Number 13, discuss, approve, disapprove, evaluating damage and consider options for the balloon building. This last Monday, during the latest spurt of storms that we had, I got to witness the can opening effect to the balloon building. Kevin has had a chance to kind of go out and evaluate to a certain extent. Most of the tin is still there, it's just nicely rolled up for us. But a lot of the problem is the structure underneath, it's rotten. And it's got quite a bit of deterioration to it. I believe Kevin had presented what he'd be comfortable with as far as if we wanted to consider, fixing that building by any means. Yeah, there you go. And what it would take. He and I discussed that as far as the, park board, they still had within their budget about $500 of, contract labor that they could use, and this is something that was suggested to maybe go that direction. But something also to understand is it's been quite a long time since we have even insured this building, or found effective use for it. It's been in pretty bad shape, and the birds have done a nice job of making it a home also. So I did tell Kevin, I said, well, at least with the roof removed like that, maybe the wind was nice enough to clean it out for us, so. So we need to evaluate if we think if it's worth repairing, or if it's something that we feel that the damage has been extensive enough that we need to move in the direction of removal.
I think it needs to go.
I agree.
I don't wanna put any money into it, let's just get rid of it.
It's not utilized, it's not used.
I think the last time we used it,
for
the
golf
golf
cart
carts
storage and-
were gonna use storage, but they've been exploring adding on to their cart storage anyway, so maybe
What's
this
the
just will
cost
help
of
them
tearing it down,
decide that.
is there anything to be reclaimed from it, is there any salvage in it at all?
There's a bunch of leftover pipe when the water plant was built, so.
If it hasn't been
Pipes
touched
been
yet.
indoors, protected and everything, so it's still good pipe, and I think we put that on the surplus list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be about the only thing in there
What
that,
about that galvanized tin on top, can that be salvaged at all?
I would
Use
love a
as
couple
wind
sticks
break?
of it.
Huh?
I would love a couple sticks of it.
Yeah, I mean, can we salvage it?
Where would you like to put it then, once we?
Well,
sell
I
it?
understand that, Ken, I'm one about salvage, is there salvage in it? Is there?
I don't know what the cost of tin goes for these days.
Yeah.
By the tonnage and.
We used to buy it as wind breaks, I don't know.
We do have a pile of, tin roof, steel roof, material still left over from the last hailstorm, it's sitting out at the golf course. That's another one of those surplus items, it just needs to get, it needs to be somebody else's problem. I'd say we just,
So what's gonna be the cost of tearing it down and taking it to shatter?
That's not something that's been explored yet, but we can definitely explore that.
I mean, that's my only issue here with this, I mean,
Sure.
$1,215.
CD box is $350 and $10 a day.
Take quite a few.
We also have the dump truck for the guys, if they needed to do what they could throughout the day and take it directly to the dump, then we don't have that cost of that box either. It's kind of already had a
Will
nice
they-
start to the deconstruction, so
Will they take that up here?
they should take the
Most
deconstruction, yeah, but we can verify that with Jake.
That would be the only thing that I would see, I'm not trying to save money, it needs to go, I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
But
I will explore cost of removal.
$1,215 to fix it, to get it
Sure.
habitable compared to how much we would cost $30,000 to play.
Now, that building does not have a cement, floor to it, correct? So we don't have to worry about a cement pad remaining or something along those lines, so we can take it all down.
That's the only reason I was asking about salvage, is that
There
there's
is
some money we can
small
retain.
cement pad on the back on the north side.
But that would be fine to probably leave, it's not gonna hurt anything.
I agree, it needs to go, it's past its.
Is there any asbestos or anything like that?
No.
It's all just cement and tin.
It was built in the 80s and how long did they run that? Not very long, and then it became the city's problem. So, it didn't get washed away in the flood.
Yeah. A motion?
I'll make a motion to continue, or to explore demolition.
I'll second the motion.
Dean and Gaston, roll call.
Dean,
Yes.
Gaston, Ron.
Yes.
Thank you. 14, discuss approve, disapprove options with the incorrect valve received initially from the water plant. And Dennis is here to help explain this also.
So they initially sent the valve to that was supposed to be for the gallery, and they actually sent the valve that is for the south well, so they're getting us the correct valve as soon as possible. The valve that they did send, we can either keep at a discount of $1,500, or we can send it back and we'll do something with the south wells at a later date. The only thing there is, we have the valve here now at a discount.
It's
Only
the valve we need for the south well?
It is the exact valve we need for the south well. So in my mind, the price of it's only gonna go up, we might as well jump on it while iron's hot.
And the cost of
The
it.
downside is it's about $12,000. Hard to meet a little.
No, it's at least that.
Yeah,
And the valve in the south well's doing,
We need to replace both of them.
They're-
yeah,
Because they're both,
yeah,
it's not
it
functional.
needs to be
they're both currently not functional at the stop wells,
perfect.
and so in my mind, it's a no-brainer, plus the state would see it as, hey, they want something there as well, and so they'd be very appreciative of it as well.
So when they originally sent us that automated systems, to replace both those south wells was gonna be $27,023. So that divided by half with the $1,200 discount would be $12,011.50. And that's just for the valve, that's not to install it. Our guys would still install it, because that was part of the original deal, is they were allowing us to do that. As far as not having the correct valve in stock, I had a chance to call and speak to Randy, said yesterday or the day before, one of those days.
Yesterday.
And he was on his way. It sounds like you guys potentially are out already
Working
doing
on it,
things,
yeah.
working on things.
Yeah.
But he, since it's under no, no misguided, we didn't order anything wrong, and therefore they didn't order anything wrong, but it's strictly a manufacturer problem and mishap. He's gonna have to come back to install that valve when he comes, and that he's gonna do at no charge. So, I will say in my conversation with him, great guy, great company, and we're really fortunate to come across this company to deal with these things. So, they were really good about being clear as far as what we're coming across and dealing with. In connection to all the work that they're here doing, even without that valve, we should be able to be back to automation and back under the state's approval for where we needed to be and where we haven't been since fall. So that is ideal, that is independent of this incorrect valve, so that's appreciated.
So where do we, I'm gonna keep this as a no-brainer, but how do we pay for this? Where do we come up with the funds?
So something else to also consider is, yes, the south wells are down, and yes, they're original part of the engineering for the plant that we have. But we need to be in the process of reevaluating that plant, updating that plant. And in that process, it'll need to involve engineers and all that, and if they decide not to use the south well, because when we have tried to use it, it's not been, as much as we expected it to be, it is not a replacement well, it's only to help,
It's very minimal supplemental.
yeah, it's supplemental, that's
It-
exactly what I was looking for.
It does about 90%, about 10% of what our capacity
It helps
could
with
be. So
those extreme
it's
loads.
not really doing a whole lot, and that's
Gotcha.
So
only if we have to use it. They're higher in nitrates, we don't usually use them.
if our gallery is
so it's-
completely down, it's
yeah.
not something that we can completely rely on.
Right.
So that is something to keep in mind, we aren't in the sense of an emergency to make this decision,
Right.
but we have it. And I'm sure we can ask Randy too, but I would go as far as to say, if we wanna think about this until the next meeting, we could probably take that time to consider and see if we wanted to wait. Because if he is coming back, he could check on that valve being replaced at that time, or decide to take it back with him if we decide not to use it. So it's not saying that south well isn't written into the engineering that we have now and is expected to function and work now, but understanding the whole picture of where we're at and what we need to replace and what we're moving to. And I will say, that was part of the discussion I had, that Terry and I had with him. This new software system and a lot of the updates that we're doing with this is really a lot more of the bridge to updating our entire system than I think we originally understood. And that was very reassuring to hear from Randy, that it was gonna help us bridge to whatever that needs to be, whether we just update what we have and try to stick to a similar system, or if we wanna adapt to, an entire new system. And that was something that was reassuring to hear, that, they work as close as they can with the manufacturers, and they can kind of have a heads up or a step forward on knowing what's coming down the line for recommendations for facilities just like that, so.
I didn't mean to make a time out and come out and see anyway, so I would like to get more information, or look into this a little bit more. I appreciate your input.
You bet.
Thank you.
You bet.
I would like to table this until the next meeting.
Okay, so just no
personally.
action for tonight.
That's just
Dennis,
my
thank
opinion.
you.
Just
We have any other questions, concerns, or motion things being made? you feel similar, that you'd like more time to consider the last ballot? Okay. Well, no action at this time. Number 15, discuss disapprove Tripmaster CTS license and service agreements for transportation department for $13,925, of which $10,000 will be covered by the CARES funding. Remaining balance of $3,925 will be put on Crawford's 5311 invoice and will be reimbursed at 80% federal and 10% state, so the city's local match would be $392.50. In order to use this new software, we would have to buy 2 tablets, and that would be at our coverage. And Tony is in the process of evaluating, you know, how it would be best to locate those or acquire those. Because if it's something that they're gonna need to be running and needing internet service in order to be tracking all this GPS, they're probably gonna need to be connected to some sort of data plan. And so there's a good chance that, you know, with the contract agreement of a data plan, you know, more than likely, we might get a discount or get buy one, get one, or, you know, we're just giving them away that day. We'll see what they have for options. But at this time, it's just for the Tripmaster CTS license and service agreement. And a lot of what this is it's a new requirement by the state. That it is their way of verifying that all of the mileage and the gas and everything that we're reporting is accurate. So they want the actual GPS data to support what we're submitting as far as numbers. They originally came down with another program. That program was a lot more fitting for the larger cities in our state, such as Omaha, Lincoln, Grand Island, Kearney. And that plan was outrageous. We couldn't even get close to being able to put up the money for it. It would have been easily $40,000 to $60,000. It was compounding quickly, and we hadn't even got to the end of it. So I'm glad that not only were we the squeaky wheel, but it sounds like other smaller communities were also, and they've found this as another option for our smaller communities to be catered to our sizes and what we'll need for requirements in order to help them complete that new requirement that they're asking the city to have with our transportation program. Do they have any questions? I know it's kind of a lot in the last minute.
She's gonna train. How long is it for to say in-person training? I'm just curious, I mean, is that something that we're gonna have to cover the cost of also?
Potentially, but yeah, a lot of what they've been doing is online and through video.
Okay.
So I haven't been made aware of anything like that, but that's something I can certainly ask to see if that's impending.
I just didn't know where.
Sure.
How long this is gonna
Right.
take.
I will say that this city's local match of $392.50 is substantially lower than what we originally thought we were gonna have to come.
Pretty outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, it was gonna be probably in the realm of 50,000 of what was gonna come out of our pocket. We just didn't have the money. I mean, we discussed that at the last budget with Cindy. There just wasn't a way to even incorporate it in the budget.
Yep. Makes sense to me.
Any other questions, concerns, motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Dean. Second was Fromm, thank you. Roll call?
Dean? From?
Yes.
Gaston?
Yes.
Number 16, disapprove the treasurer's report.
So, I think probably the most important thing to point out is, remember when we were looking at our numbers on the running total of what we have owed other departments, and we've been doing this reallocation of funds that haven't been put in the right places over the past almost 3 years, as far as the way it was allocated. General was carrying everything. Well, let's see, we're down at minus $27,600, which, when you look at the history, which I mean, there's a running history here, we're going in the right direction, and that's what we want to see. So, as long as we continue that, we're gonna be starting, budgets here, starting in July. We've already started meeting with departments. We met with library today, they're starting to get ready. I know Dennis is working on things to get ready for budget, so that's just a couple weeks away, and we're gonna start into all of those budget, meetings. And then, Lola, you had asked in the meeting before, and I had said, just call me, but since you didn't, I'm just gonna do it right here.
Okay,
The reason, you had asked the question about, the law enforcement contract, and you had seen that we had paid 3,000 some odd more for the month. That's because it went to the, Dawes County treasurer, and we had sales tax on that too, so that's
Yeah,
why.
right.
Sales tax included, we owed sales tax, but we also owed the contract, so that showed, and on our end, it gets divvied up between the accounts, but so that's why you saw it was 3,000 more.
Okay.
Okay. And that's really what I have to say.
Wonderful.
We're still not, I will give an update, the audit on the, bill is supposed to be due, to us this week. I called the auditor myself to get that, and then that'll get filed with the state, and then highway allocations will start again.
Thank you.
Making progress on that too.
Motion to approve treasurer's report.
Thank you, Dean. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Justin. Roll call.
Dean, Gaston, Ron,
Yes.
thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve bills and claims, requisition orders, and transfers?
So moved.
Thank you, Dean. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ron. Roll call.
Dean,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Gaston.
Yes.
Thank you. It's at this time that we'll move into executive session and go to contract.
I'll make a motion to move into executive session.
Thank you,
I'll
Dean. Do I have a
second that.
second? Ron, thank you.
Dean,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Gaston.